What's going on, guys, and welcome to today's video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please consider subscribing. In today's video, we're going to go over my experience and the process of doing a remote e-tune, and I went with Delicious Tuning out in California. I'm in Michigan. They were super reputable. I was searching forums trying to find the best solution for me for this platform. They came highly recommended, and I'll be 100% honest, after all it was said and done, they did a great job, so I'm really impressed and would definitely recommend them for anyone that's looking for a tune. So again, Delicious Tuning. I work with Nazar and Bill over at Delicious, so thanks again, guys. Really appreciate you hooking up the BRZ and making it run super good, and I'm 100% satisfied, so you got a long-term customer. So let's go ahead and begin. This video is basically going to go ahead and just give you an idea of what I went through, what you can expect to go through if you're new to e-tuning, or maybe you're just new to Delicious Tuning and you're going to go through an e-tune, what to expect. So let's go ahead and begin. Alright, so for e-tuning, you're going to need a laptop. It's going to have 2 USB ports that are available. And then what you'll receive in the mail, if you don't already have it, is an EcuTek Bluetooth programming module. Now this is going to come with a desk key and also the programming cable that goes to the OBD port reader. But anyways, you'll have to connect the desk key here. This authenticates that you have a license with the software. This will allow you to be known to the system and give you access to go ahead and reprogram your ECU. And then obviously this program cable runs to the module, which is a Bluetooth module, down below. So if you're new to this, here's your steering column. It's on the bottom right hand side underneath. This is where it connects. Now there is a little port here that allows this cable to connect. That's what you do the first time around in order to program it. Now, a question I've been posed before, with that Bluetooth module in place, do you need a cord in order to program? You do. It has to be wired up. Okay. Next step you do after you hook everything up is you'll go to your laptop, download the software at EcuTek's website. Once you get that in place, please also note that Delicious Tuning will send you an email with instructions, things that you need to do and to look out for. Make sure to fully read that. Obviously, during the time of this video, instructions updates happen, so it could vary a little bit, but this will give you a good idea of what to expect. Alright, so once you have that software downloaded and you have your key plugged in, everything good to go, what you do is don't crank the car, but first make sure everything is off. And if you haven't done that yet, go ahead and just turn the car on. I have a push button start, so you hit it twice and it'll turn the car on, but we're not cranking, we're not holding on the clutch or anything like that, we're just turning the electronics on. What you want to do is turn off anything ancillary, not important, that consumes power. So touchscreen wise, turn off the screen. And what you can do for that is you can just go to settings here, click that, and there should be an option here, display screen. Select that and just turn it off. And if you hit any of the buttons on the sides, it'll turn it back on, so it's not a hard process. I have heated seats. I turned them both off. AC is completely off. It's daytime right now, so my auto lighting is off, so I'm good to go. Nothing excess wise is draining power, and that's important just because since we don't have the car cranked over, you don't want to kill the battery pretty much during this process. Alright, once you've done that, go back to your laptop with everything connected, open up the Pro ECU software that you downloaded. It's going to prompt for updates. Make sure to update accordingly. It does it every time you open the software. Make sure everything's up to date. After that, it's up to you to keep up with the updates. You'll go to Tools, Identify ECU. It'll show everything there, so you're good. Now this step might not be needed, but I just do it just to make sure that we're connected. Then you can go to Detect Vehicle. And there it shows all my information, and there's a selection here for Program Engine ECU. I already programmed my car, everything's great, so I'm going to cancel now, but what you would do is click OK on Program Engine ECU. Then it would bring up a whole different set of options there. You would select to choose ROM that you want to load, choose the file that the Delicious Tuning guys sent you, and then you go ahead and follow the prompts, load it up. Once that starts loading up, follow the on-screen instruction. It'll tell you not to do anything and just wait. If you look over at your dashboard, Your RPM meter will turn into a loading bar. Usually once it hits close to red line, you'll take a look at your laptop again. It'll tell you to turn the car off, so you would just hit this button for the third time. Car turns off, and then you would just turn it back on again by pressing it twice. Then the prompts there should start finishing up the process, and you're good to go. So it's really not hard to do. You just have to pay attention to what it's asking from you and just follow accordingly, and don't take too long. Just, you know, be reasonable with it. And I'm sure you will, because this process is very exciting, so I can understand you just being right there ready to hit go. So all right, when that's all said and done, you're all set to go. Now you can, at that point, disconnect the cord if you want, but the next step follows, which is running your data logs. And it's up to you on when you want to run them. Essentially, Delicious Tuning will send you a base tune, which will allow you to get from point A to point B. Just don't drive super heavy on it. You want to make sure to confirm all the details first, and that's what the data logging process is for. What you'll do is you'll capture a certain set of criteria that they want to see, which is usually 4 different logs. An idle log, which is exactly as boring as it sounds. You just record the idle for 12 minutes, but you want to make sure that all your temperatures are all warmed up where they're supposed to be, which if you're riding stock or anything that's, you know, you're going to know what your full operating is. It's normally, both temperature meters are usually in the middle. Now, obviously, if you live in a hotter state, it might be a little bit hotter, but you're going to know where it normally sits at after you've been driving around for a little bit. That's where it needs to be. Then you just record the data log for 12 minutes straight, and then end it, and you'll send it to them. The next data log that you'll run is a cruising log, in which case they'll want another 12 minutes of just driving and at a set speed. So what I did was, everyone's different, everyone's area is different. You're going to know your traffic conditions the best. For me, I chose the freeway, and it was more north, and it was during the nighttime. I want to say 10, 11 o'clock at night. So traffic was minimal, and I was able to just set my cruise control to freeway speed. So for me, it was just 70. So just a constant 70. Make sure you're not in the hammer lane, guys, if someone wants to pass you. In Michigan, everyone speeds, so I was getting passed up a lot, but I just stayed in the right-hand lane, going the speed limit, cruise control, and I was all good to go. And then just for a safety measure, on the way back, I did the same exact thing. I just recorded it again, because obviously if it takes you 12 minutes to go down and record, it'll take you 12 minutes to come back up. That's exactly what I did. And then after that, once you start reading into some of the data, now you might not be an expert on it, but Delicious Tuning sends you a PDF file, and it'll tell you some things to look for, like in your fuel trim, long-term, short-term, and your AFRs. They'll give you some values that they say that they want to see it fall in between. Now, if you're healthy there and comfortable, go ahead and start doing the pull logs. If you're not, just send them over to Delicious Tuning via email, wait for a response, and they'll give you a go-ahead. Once you get that go-ahead, you'll do wide open throttle as the last step. Before that, you'll do partial throttle. Partial throttle, they want to see a third gear pull going from around 2,500 RPM to 3,000 RPM to start, with about 30 or 40% on the accelerator pedal, up to 5,000 RPMs. And then that's it. That's that one log. That's the partial log. And again, look at the data. If everything looks comfortable to you, then move on to wide open throttle. If you don't feel comfortable, send it over to Delicious, wait for the go-ahead, and then do your wide open throttle. Wide open throttle, I found it best for me personally. I was on the freeway, coming into the freeway on an entry ramp. That's where I did mine. And it starts again anywhere. You can start from 2,500 to 3,000 RPM, but then you're in third gear, and you'll just go all the way to red line, foot to the floor. Don't hesitate at all. Just keep it grounded on the floor until you reach red line. And then that's it. So those are the two fun ones that are easy to do. Again, it can be scary if you don't know what to look for in the data, which, you know, over time you'll get comfortable with and you'll understand it better. But again, if you have any concerns or hesitations, reach out to Delicious before you go ahead and do anything like that, because you don't want to damage your engine. So now here's the fun part. When you're doing those data logs, you can choose to either have the laptop do the data logs for you, in which case, let me go ahead and fire up the car real quick. All right, and when you're doing the data logs, you'll open up the Pro ECU software. This part I can actually show you. You go to File, Open ROM File, and now you need to choose the tune that they sent you that you flashed to your ECU. So see, I have the two files, 17.5 and 17.51. The latest one that I flashed was 17.51. Very important you select the same exact one that you loaded onto your car, okay? Once you do that, make this full screen, and then you'll see all these rows of data. And at the very top, you'll see Map Access. You'll click that, and then you'll see a green loading bar continuously going back and forth, and there's a red frame around it. That means that you can view the live data right now. If you want to record it, right next to that button is Log to File. You'll click that, it'll start logging the data for you. You click it again, it'll stop the data logging. And then what you'll need to do then at that point is you can access your data logs by going to your File Explorer. You'll go to the C drive or wherever you installed EcuTek. So here's EcuTek, and then Map Access Logs. Once you click that, that's where you'll find your data logs. Now, I am a huge person about organizing my files on the computers, so I already have everything broken down in folders. And every once in a while I like to run a data log even after the fact, just to make sure everything looks good. It's up to you on whether you want to do that or not, but that's what I do. But anyways, so that's what you can do for data logging using a laptop. Now, this is best obviously if you have a friend or fiance or girlfriend, whatever, you know, someone there to help you. For me, Leanne was here to help me, so we used the computer just because we already flashed everything. It was still connected. We just said, all right, let's go do some data logging. Now, if you're solo by yourself, obviously this isn't the safest application. You don't want to, you know, this could slide around. Also, to turn around and look at that and hit the buttons, you can get really distracted, and that's just not safe. Since you have the Bluetooth module, here's what you can do. Now go ahead and close out the program. Now I can just shut down my laptop, which I'll just do right now because I don't need it anymore. Once you have that Bluetooth module in there, you can download an app on your phone, ECU Connect. Now I'm going to go ahead and unplug this, and my word of advice is I've already installed this Bluetooth module here, and I'm just going to keep it there. No reason to remove it. You can, at that point, once you have the app downloaded on your phone, you can view all your information from your phone wirelessly using Bluetooth. I don't like the idea of removing it constantly and replugging it in. I don't want to damage any pins, so it's better to just leave it there if it doesn't bother you. It doesn't take up any extra space. You're not going to kick it, and it just helps prevent damaging the pins or the port itself. And if you do either or, you're going to have, you know, some further expenses to go through, and it's not worth it. So let me go ahead and show you now. All right, so ECU Connect. I have an Android phone. You can download the same thing from the market on Apple. But anyways, I got it connected. I went ahead and I synced it in my settings. So Bluetooth settings, find your ECU Connect device. It'll be named very obviously. Mine was like EVI and then something, so I selected that. Now you can go to your EcuTek app. If you hit My Files, it's really cool. It'll show you how many data logs you've recorded, if you have any engine codes, if you save a custom dashboard, which I'll get into. So we'll go to My Car. It'll show that it's connecting. And then here you get all this wonderful information. So you can hit Info, it'll tell you the name of your car, your VIN number, all that good stuff. The more important part is, let's get back on topic here, data logging. You can data log from your phone. So that way, if you have it mounted up, it's much easier and much safer to just, boom, hit start driving, and then end it again, and just better than having a laptop in your car. So that's really cool, something that you can do. And let's go ahead and get into features. So a benefit of having this is it comes with Race ROM. Got a couple extra goodies, like the ability to switch your maps on the fly. So Talk to Delicious Tuning, they offer a set of default maps, but you can customize. You just have to let them know and give them ample amount of time to make the adjustments for you. You have launch control options that you can set, so you can set where the RPM limiter is at, which is really cool. Another huge benefit is traction control. It has its own traction control built in. If you turn it off, it turns everything off 100% completely, or you can leave it on, and in custom inputs you can adjust accordingly. You can also find your DTC codes. You can delete codes. Like for example, I don't have any codes coming up. First time I had a B14 code, which is ACON, and that is actually the sensor right here. Just when it switches from detecting light from night to day, it might throw a code, but that is nothing to be worried about. That is just a silly code, so don't even worry about that. Another code that I threw was a P code. I don't remember it particularly. I think it was like 1507 maybe, off the top of my head. But either way, it had to do with my RPM idle being too high. I checked to make sure. Most of the time it's due to a vacuum leak. In my case, I had no leaks. I let Bill know. He took a look at the logs. Everything looked good. So he just adjusted the tune for me, and everything's good now. I don't throw any codes. So don't be too freaked out if you throw any codes. Just talk to your tuner and go through the motions, and he can help give you peace of mind, or he can help you troubleshoot if there's an actual issue or not. Okay? And then, oh, importantly, I forgot to throw in this quick 2 cents. It says it in the guide that they give you, but I just want to make it clear that if you're on flex fuel, they want you to run pump gas for this. So 91 or 93, don't use E85. No flex fueling. Even if you have the kit on, they want, you know, just pump gas. Should have said that at the beginning, so sorry about that. But anyways, all right, so getting back to this, what's really cool is you have all those options. You can go to dashboard, and you can set up your custom gauges. And how you do that is you just tap on the screen. There'll be a little edit button here at the top. Click that, and then at the bottom you can add. And let's say we want to add a gauge here. Go to parameter, and it'll show you everything. All the options for data logging are here that you can choose to monitor. Let's go with intake air temperature. So we'll select that, check mark at the top right, click that, and now you can move it around. And you can move around your other ones, resize it. You get additional pages if you want. Let's go ahead and put that there. Again, top right, hit the check mark. And now we have intake air temperature as a display. You can also display your flex fuel content, which Delicious Tuning already has its own app for, but you can just throw it on here and you can monitor more stuff, which is really cool. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get to some of the driving modes that you can choose, which is usually the most exciting thing people ask about, especially launch control. But all you need to do is, if you have cruise control, hold this in, and then you can see, look at your RPM gauge. Mine's at 3 because I'm on map 3. And for what I know, I'm using the default selection that Delicious Tuning provides you. So if you go to map 1, that's just race throttle. Map 2 is race throttle, flat foot shifting, and launch control. Map 3 for me is race throttle, flat foot shifting, launch control, and auto blip. And then 4 is valet mode. Now, auto blip is when you're downshifting, heel toe, you no longer have to do both. You just hold the brake, clutch in, downshift, and it'll blip the RPM for you, so you have a smooth downshift. So it essentially does part of the heel toe for you, so all you have to do is toe, no longer have to do heel. So that's pretty cool. Flat foot shifting is also really cool if you're someone that's into doing track. How that works is you just hold down your gas pedal, so accelerator, and when you're shifting, hold it where you want it. So if you're at like 4,000, 5,000 revs, just keep holding it down, throw in your clutch, and it'll put a rev limiter on there that holds it there until you shift into your next gear. It's pretty cool. And then also launch control, obvious, that's an easy one. This one, you have to make sure that you're kind of quick at it. You don't want to go slow, but make sure you're on a launch control map. What you'll do is, with your foot on the brake, you're in neutral. You'll push your clutch in all the way, hold it, pop it into first gear, and then take your foot off the brake and immediately go all the way wide open throttle on your accelerator. And then you'll just start bouncing the RPMs. In fact, I'll show you real quick while we're in the driveway, as long as I don't roll back, which I'm not. So clutch in, first gear, wide open throttle. And then obviously in order to launch it, when you're bouncing off those revs, just quickly release your clutch. Do not slowly let it out. If you slowly let it out, you're going to be burning some clutchy poo, and that's never good. But anyways, essentially those are some of the features and the process that I went through for e-tuning. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I know it's a little long, but essentially don't be scared of the process. If you're new to it, it's really not that hard. Just make sure to follow the instructions and ask questions. Get comfortable with it. You know, it's something really cool. Definitely great for learning. If you have no idea about the values that your car should be running at, go through this process. You're going to learn, and it's going to be great for you. So really cool thing. Love the performance of the car. Again, I highly recommend Delicious Tuning if you haven't found yourself a tuner already that you prefer. They did a great job. Everything works perfectly. They got back to me super quick. I don't know if that's normal. I know that it just probably depends on, you know, volume of work they have, but they were so quick. Like, I got in and out with my maps, usually responding within like 20 minutes of my emails with a new revision. So really cool. Everything works great. If you guys end up having any additional questions, maybe something I missed or went over a little bit too quick for you, always feel free to reach out in the comment section below. Or, you know, did you want to see something particular, like I just showed you how to use launch control? You know, maybe you want to see it in action. That's perfectly fine too. Just let me know and I can make a video for you. But that's pretty much about it. That's all I got to say is I'm super happy. So again, thanks a lot guys for checking out the video, and I'll catch you on the next one.